So we're scientists and we found something called an Archaeopteryx, which is a dinosaur that was similar to a bird. But how would we find evidence to support that it's similar to a bird? So then we would examine fossils of this dinosaur, the Archaeopteryx, and then look for structures that they have that are similar to those of modern birds. So fossils can help us kind of discover animals that used to be what we have right now and find the similarities, kind of see if they evolved from each other, if they had any connections with each other. So that's a picture of the Archaeopteryx. Right, kind of looks like it has like little wings, like what birds have. Maybe little tiny feet like birds have. You know, some birds don't have tails, so that's different. Actually, some birds do, like a peacock, right? So just based on this fossil, um, so this is what they think that the Archaeopteryx might have looked like. So this is just still a theory, but they just try to design what it really looks like just based off the fossil and the size. I'd say that kind of looks like a bird. A bird with like really sharp teeth. Okay, so as we're looking at fossils, quick review that the top, the layer that's on top the most, that would be the newest layer, the youngest in age. And then the ones at the bottom, they're the oldest. So we still use that. Um, we'll still use that theory for this when we're determining like rock layer age or fossil age. So you'll have a couple questions on the test that would ask you like what's true about each layer. So one more thing to remember is that, you know, if they're right next to each other, like B and C, that means they would be the same age. right? Because they're both in the same layer. That would be the same age. And then A would be the youngest, D would be the oldest, but B and C would be younger than D, and then A would be younger than B and C because it's on top. Okay, I'll move on, and then we're almost done. So we have the Grand Canyon. Yeah, I'll put the Grand Canyon over here. Let's make this smaller. Okay, so then we will look at, we're going to look for evidence, direct evidence in this photo that there are millions of years of deposition. So deposition is when like the rocks, the little pieces of rocks are slowly getting deposited over time, brought here, and the most direct evidence is that these rocks have a smooth and clear layer.
you go back up?
Okay. Is that good? So like if you look at the Grand Canyon, you can see like the distinct layers, right? You can kind of see the lines. So that would be a lot easier for scientists to determine the rock's age, right? So if this layer has a different color, that also helps them go, okay, this must be a different layer that was deposited here, brought here, let's say by wind. The little pieces of sediments were deposited, and then they form one layer at a certain time, and then later a different time more layers were little pieces of rocks were brought here and then formed another layer. Right, so these rocks, the sedimentary rocks, right, they're one of the three rocks that we learned about in the rock cycle, the little pieces. Okay, let's type in the chat if you have a question. Otherwise, it's gonna have an echo. Yeah, type into the chat next time. I don't know. We don't want to hurt the ears of people who do have headphones. So yeah, rule of thumb: if you're gonna unmute yourself, you need headphones. Otherwise, it's gonna create that echo. Please. Okay, so if you're done with notes, go back with your group from the last class. You finish up your fossil research project. I'll give you 15 minutes.